Hi and welcome to all the racing lovers out there. Really looking forward to the meeting that takes place at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. The early start 12:05 and race number 1 will be over 1200 meters. And joining me on the line from Cape Town is the regular expert, none other than Graham Hawkins. Graham, how are you doing? And you told me that there was some rain over the weekend.
Yes, Sheldon, we can expect the going to be on the soft side, unlike recent meetings at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth when the going has been hard and fast. The weather will be good. It'll be cool and clear, but 43 millimeters were recorded at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth over the weekend. We're on the summer course for a final time. I believe we revert to the winter course from next week. So summer course for the final time, the going on the soft side, and as you mentioned, the first off at 12:05.
Right, let's get straight into the first race where the Hollywood team, they had a whale of a time the other day, notching up 4 winners. They've got number 9, Inside Voice, at 18-10. Number 7 is 5-2. Precocious, number 2, is at a price of 9-2. And then number 5, which is Winter in Auckland, the first timer, at 7-1. 10-1 and better the rest. Now, Graham, let's go straight to the 9-horse, Inside Voice. Now, we saw Hollywood Racing have an absolute blast of a time the other day. And Sean Beale and Vaughan Marshall, this path fork goes the extra 200 meters.
I think very much in her favour, number 9, Inside Voice, that she goes the extra 200 metres. I like the fact that she was backed last time, went third behind Match That. I think that form line behind Match That is pretty strong. Number 7, Electromagnetism, is at the 3 starts, coming along the right way, improving each and every time. So she won't be a pushover, number 7, Electromagnetism. Candice Bass-Robinson has got 4 fillies in this race, and judging by the riding arrangements, number 7, Electromagnetism, does appear to be the stable elect. But that being said, interesting that number 2, Precocious, on debut back on the 5th of March, actually finished ahead of number 9, Inside Voice, when they ran 2nd and 3rd behind Amen Corner. But I like the fact that Inside Voice has had another run. I like the fact that she attracted betting support. And number 9, Inside Voice, does get my vote to score in the opener. Healthy respect for both numbers 2, Precocious, and number 7, Electromagnetism. Both of them certainly have scope for further improvement. And then the Brett and James Crawford team, they send out number 5, Winter in Auckland, on debut. They reckon she's got a place chance. Well, if you've got a place chance, you've got a winning chance. Currently at around 7-1 in the market. Check the betting as race time approaches, but I'm firmly in the camp of number 9, Inside Voice.
So there we go, it is Inside Voice in the first race, and let's see if those yellow and purple silks can end up in the winner's enclosure. As we move along to race number 2, and just having a look at the betting, we have joint 16-10 favourites. Number 1, Lowveld Lily, after running 3rd first time out behind Ukuduma. Finished well, 23.8, made up a little bit of ground late on. And then we've got number 6, South of France, joined 16-10, and that also made the debut. And Graham, this was South of France, although in a similar 400 to finish time, 23.6, came from almost 12 lengths back at the 400.
Another one that's going to prefer the step up to 1,200 metres, a pleasing debut by number 6, South of France. Now, if Inside Voice does win the first race, as we expect her to do, or at least run a very creditable race in defeat, then that will surely enhance the chances of number 6, South of France, in the second race, which is the opening leg of the bipot. She comes out of that same form line on the 16th of April when 4th behind Match That. Inside Voice was 3rd. So we'll have to check the progress of Inside Voice in the first race before finalising your bipot bets, and perhaps anchoring number 6, South of France. If Inside Voice goes well, then I think we can confidently expect number 6, South of France, to go well. On the evidence of a debut run, she certainly got the beating of My Dear Friend and Lakatichi. But clearly, number 1, Lowveld Lily, presents as a lively threat. She did well on debut, went third behind Ukuduma. I suspect that form line might not be as strong as match that, hence I'm in the camp of number 6, South of France. But there's lots of improvement to come from number 1, Lowveld Lily, and Richard Fourie and Justin Snaith team up with his 2-year-old daughter of Legislate. As I mentioned, My Dear Friend also made her debut behind Match That. She was also beaten for early speed and was doing her best work late. She comes from a wonderful family. Further progress is expected. But purely on the evidence of that debut run, she should be held by number 6, South of France. But certainly number 2, My Dear Friend, is one for the notebook. So 6, 1, and 2, my order of preference for the opening leg of the bipot. And I think you could possibly bank a number 6, South of France, in the first leg of the bipot.
So there we go, possible banker South of France, number 6, as we move on to race number 3, and this is over 1,400 meters, and this is where Graham's bet of the day will come into play. His suggested bet is the place accumulator, and number 3, Sierra Sagrada, the One World from the Vaughan Marshall stable, will be the opening banker. I see Graham's gone with 3 bankers in the first 3 legs. Number 2, Diamond Days, is 18 to 10. The favorite 3, Sierra Sagrada, is 15 to 10. There's been early money for number 6, Big Deal, from 11 to 2 down 4 to 1. And just looking at Big Deal and also number 3, Sierra Sagrada, Graham, they both had some excuses last time, in particular number 6, Big Deal.
Interesting maiden juvenile, played 1,400 meters. As you say, number 6, Big Deal, came out of his last run with all kinds of excuses. Went 5th over 1,200 meters behind Happy Verse. There have been no runners from that form line, so hard to judge the strength of that form line. But I respect the early money for number 6, Big Deal. Again, we'll have to monitor the market as race time approaches, because particularly with these juvenile races, we've seen a lot of fluctuations in the betting market as we get closer to race time. I'm in the camp of number 3, Sierra Sagrada, place accumulator banker for me. Good thing or not, I'm not that certain, because clearly beaten by a limited sort Thomas Jenkins last time out. Thomas Jenkins certainly not going to Hollywood, but that run, only the second of its career, Sierra Sagrada, was up against older horses, has the experience over 1,400 meters, has the profile to continue to improve. Gavin Larena teaming up with Vaughan Marshall. So I'm expecting a big competitive run from number 3, Sierra Sagrada. I would stop short of making it a good thing, but I'm happy with it as a place accumulator banker. 2, Diamond Days, also has an improving profile. Dean Kahneman and Craig Zaki team up with the 2-year-old son of Rafif. Also has experience over 1,400 meters, but that was at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. So Diamond Days definitely emerges as a threat here. I'm interested in number 4, Bolzi Rossi, the stable companion to number 3, Sierra Sagrada. I think overpriced at this time in the market. If you look at the debut performances of both Sierra Sagrada and Bolzi Rossi, they raced behind the very decent North Point on debut, and there was less than half a length between them. Bolzi Rossi also stepped up to 1,400 meters last time out, went 5th behind Randolph Hurst. Randolph Hurst was very highly regarded, was a convincing winner. Not easy to work out whether the Thomas Jenkins form line or the Randolph Hurst form line is the stronger of the two. But I do think that number 4, Bolzi Rossi, comes in with a winning chance. I think the betting doesn't truly reflect his chances, and a very nice trifecta and quartet inclusion. Number 8, Roland Garros, also from a wonderful family, not disgraced on debut, showed a lot more pace than I was expecting, ran out of steam on debut in the closing stages, but was beaten by a useful sort in all the rage. Clearly it's scope for improvement. So it's an interesting race, it's a competitive race. 3, Sierra Sagrada, my top choice, ahead of 4, Bolzi Rossi and number 2, Diamond Days, but not discounting the chances of Big Deal and Roland Garros. So it's an interesting race.
That'll take us on to race number 4. And when looking at race number 4, let's just get to the betting here. Joint favourites at 14 to 10, numbers 6 and 7. Ruby Rex is 14 to 10, number 7. Thingamabob, 14-10. And then number 3, American Ultra, is 6-1. Number 1, Larking About 7s. And then you can double that, 14-1, and better the rest. Now, looking at this event, obviously the Andre Nell's stable, Corne Orfer and the team, the Platiners, they'll be on a high after Salukwe came through to win the 1900. And it's quite interesting and quite a few debates going on of late. They've been bringing some of their horses back from 1400s, 1600s, back to sprint trips. And here's a horse who they tried over 1400 last time, and they brought right back to 1000, Thingamabob. Graham?
Yeah, difficult to know whether she's got the pace to go with number 6, Ruby Rex, but Ruby Rex is herself very limited. This is the first leg of the pick 6. It looks an absolute match race between Ruby Rex, number 6, and Thingamabob, number 7. Ruby Rex was only caught late over 1100 meters last time. Had that been 1000 meters, she would be a maiden no longer. So over the minimum trip, and if they adopt the same tactics, and if she goes as well on a soft track, which she did last time on the 21st of April, then I do believe that maybe Ruby Rex will have the upper hand over number 7, Thingamabob, who reverts all the way back to the minimum trip, as you've mentioned. But clearly, for me, not looking for any spooks here. The outcome rests between number 6, Ruby Rex, and number 7, Thingamabob. Obviously on form, number 3, American Ultra, 2 very good runs, third on debut behind Furious Queen, and followed that up with a 4th behind Polynomial. But that was a long time ago. We haven't seen her since the 11th of June, and Ricky Maingard reports that she will need the run. So I'm going to discount number 3, American Ultra, even as far as the big 6 is concerned. Rowing with numbers 6, Ruby Rex, and number 7, Thingamabob. I wouldn't be surprised if number 7, Thingamabob, actually came out victorious, but perhaps number 6, Ruby Rex, will be too sharp for her over the minimum trip. But for me, first leg of the pick 6, absolute match between numbers 6 and 7.
So on to race number 5, where number 4, Ridian, is the strong warm order 11-10 favourite from the Dean Kannemeyer outfit. He ran second to Talk to the Master. He's run to Great Plains, Chestnut Bomber, Nkwele, who we saw give the 650th winner to the Hollywood Racing. So absolutely wonderful stuff. Graham, Ridian's going to have his second run after the layoff, but last time out he was a little bit stiff, and by all intensive purposes he should be in the number 1 box.
Look, Sheldon, I think the best rated column tells the whole story. He comes in with a race rating of 81. His nearest rivals are way behind that at 74 and 73, those being Boundless Love and Klein Carew, who finished close up behind him, went 3rd and 4th in the race behind Green Planet. But that was Ridian's first run after a very long time off the track. It was his first run as a gelding. You know, he made his debut on the 24th of February 2024, went second to Talk to the Master. I was on course that day, and if you said to me that 18 months later he would still be a maiden, I would have said you're off your rocker. But here we are, Ridian still trying to shed his maiden ticket. He's at 5 starts for 4 seconds and 1's third. They got close to him last time, Klein Carew and Boundless Love, and unless he falls victim to the second run after rest syndrome, which I don't necessarily believe in, Ridian shapes up as the nap of the day. He should progress from that run. He should comfortably have the beating of Klein Carew and Boundless Love, who appear on form to be his principal threats. And I think that number 4, Ridian, is a banker in all bets. The interesting run, of course, is number 7, Future Free, the newcomer, the 2-year-old son of Futura. He's a half-brother to 8 on 18. Richard Faree takes the ride. But being by Futura and being a half-brother to 8 on 18, there has to be a question mark as to whether he's sharp enough over 1,200 meters to match strides with number 4, Ridian. 11, Digby, does have a chance of finding his way into the trifectas and quartets. But for all intents and purposes, it's impossible to oppose number 4, Ridian. Shapes up as the best bet on the card and a banker in all bets.
Now, the total opposite when we go to race number 6, Graham, because here it becomes very testing. And I see you've gone 4 runners in the place accumulator, numbers 3, 4, 5, and 9. And which makes it even tougher is that it's an open maiden. And let's just look at the current horses that are well fancied. Number 4, Cold Breeze, that is 53.5 kilograms on the back. And then you look at number 9, Call Me Jane, with the 60 kilograms.
Yeah, this is a trappy contest. As you've mentioned, I've got 4 runners in the place accumulator. You might be a little surprised at my top choice. More a gut feeling than anything else. Number 3, Vivo Perlay, would be my top choice. Hasn't raced over 1,200 meters since the 4th of December when in a Class 5 ran a close 4th behind Why Not Jackie. And that is the run that I'm drawn to. And prior to that, back at the George is a multiple winner. So reverting to 1,200 meters for the first time in this calendar year, I just have a feeling that number 3, Vivo Perlay, is going to be the one they're all going to have to beat. But that being said, of course, when you look at the overall profile, she doesn't rate anything more than a nice each-way selection. Both 4 Cold Breeze and 5 Red State come out of the Angels Oasis form line, and there's nothing to choose between the pair. They both showed sudden improvement in that race, which lends me to believe it was definitely not a strong event, and we've had 5 runners from that form line and yet to find a winner. What encourages me about number 5 Red State is that the Ricky Maingard stable, after going through a bit of a quiet period where they were suffering with viruses and other factors, the Ricky Maingard stable is now firing on all 4 cylinders. He doesn't have many horses, and Red State, who caught the eye on debut a long time ago when 5th behind All the Boys I've Loved, might now be ready to win a race. But that being said, Adam Marcus has got his stable in good form, and Cold Breeze in this class of race should be right there. And as you mentioned, they're getting heaps of weight from number 9, Call Me Jane, who probably does set the standard. Call Me Jane's only had the 3 runs. She showed tremendous potential on debut, in second behind Priscilla Maisie, but she's got 60 to shoulder here, giving away to all of numbers 3, Vivo Perlay, 4 Cold Breeze and 5 Red State. A quick word about number 2, Rosa Aziria. She does feature quite short in the market, but I'm looking elsewhere for the potential winner. So I've got 3, 4, 5 and 9 in the place accumulator. 3, Vivo Perlay is my top choice. I think she represents quite nice each-way value, but I wouldn't put the house money on her. In the pick 6 in the jackpot, just to be sure, I'd probably also throw in number 2, Rosa Aziria, but she ranks very much as my 5th choice in this Open Maiden.
Right, let's move along to race number 7. So now we start to get to the latter part of the program, and hopefully you're in front and you're hitting them one after another and looking at the betting for race number 7. Graham, it's quite interesting, the card. You mentioned there's quite a few competitive races. There's quite a few joint favourites. There's at least 3 or 4 joint favourites, or not much separating the top 2 in the betting. And yeah, once again, we've got joint 18 to 10 favourites. Numbers 5 and 6, Empire State and Elusive Winter. Number 7, Bluff on Bluff, is 7 to 2. And number 1, Nordic Chief, is 4 to 1. So there's only a quartet of runners in single figures. You've gone numbers 5, 6 and 7. Just before we get to your selections, what do you make of number 3, Gimme Lightning? This is my shooty at 14 to 1, the Gimme the Green Light. And just looking at the overall form, the last few runs a little bit below par, but the type of horse who could muddy the waters for the exactors and the swingers?
Definitely a chance, purely on the air raid form on the 14th of April. Gimme Lightning should be held by others here, finished behind all of Elusive Winter, Bluff and Bluff and Nordic Chief, and quite comprehensively so. I'm not certain that 1,100 meters for Gimme Lightning is just a little on the sharp side, but may appreciate the softer track. 2 of its last 3 runs have been on a yielding track, and as you say, those forms, that form has been a bit below par for the 4-year-old son of Gimme the Green Light. Clearly, he's won 3 races, he's got ability, but he's got 61.5 to shoulder, which also makes his task here a little tougher. So I'm looking elsewhere, but I wouldn't discount his chances of a top 4 finish. I think this is a very trappy little Class 3 handicap. I know the betting suggests perhaps the outcome rests between Empire State and Elusive Winter, but I don't believe it's quite as easy as that. Empire State definitely one to beat. He's won his only start over the course and distance. I think he had a crack at the 5 million rand big cap over 1,400 meters last time out. He wasn't disgraced to win 5th, 5 lengths behind, all out for 6. But on his best form down the straight, it's clearly a big runner. Elusive Winter's very fast, as we know. We'll try again to make every post a winning one, and may go all the way. Bluff on Bluff, one of my favorite horses in training. He doesn't know what it is to run a bad race. Purely on form, he could be held by Elusive Winter on the air raid form, but there's not much to choose between them. and he goes well in a soft track. I'm not ignoring number 1, Nordic Chief. Again, purely on the last run, held by the aforementioned, but on his best form and in his second to last start, he actually beat Elusive Winter. So you can never discount the chances of Nordic Chief. And then there's always the potential of an upset from number 2, She's My Captain. It does carry half a kilogram overweight for Craig Bantam, but that being said, still only 52.5 on its back. Ignore the last couple of runs, and she comes into this race with a bright chance, stepping back to 1,100 meters. I think this is a lot more trappy. You've mentioned Gimme Lightning, so I might as well mention Firing on All Engines. You know, Deezer's got this formula where it says if you're putting in more than half the field, you go to the field. Well, there are only 7. You could do worse than put them all into your jackpots and pick 6 play. But my top 3 choices in order of preference would be Empire State, Bluff and Bluff, and Elusive Winter. Those are the 3 that I've thrown in to the place accumulator, and those would be the 3 that I throw into the final leg of the bipod as well.
There we go. So that's a look at race number 7 as we move along to race number 8. And when we get to race number 8, let's just update you on the system and get the betting for you. Currently, number 7, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Klainsey, is that correct, Graham?
I would think Klainsey is correct, yes.
Okay, well, let's go with Klainsey at 5-2. Number 2, Oni San. Well, I've just about given up on this individual. 4-1. This is a horse who had a merit rating of a 98 once upon a time and just seems to be going through the motions with no real confidence. Number 3, Ladavina's at 4-1. Number 4, Lady Lookalike, 4-1. 6-1, Yo Lacka Dung. So maybe Klainsey and Yo Lacka Dung could be a nice swing or exacta, Graham.
Well, they are my top 2 choices, with the preference being for number 8, Yo Lacka Dung. This is, the first half of the card I think is somewhat easier, dare I say it, somewhat easier than the last couple of races, all of which are very competitive. This is a race that I don't really trust. Yes, Klainsey's on a hat-trick. Yes, she's coming along the right way, but obviously she's starting to climb in the ratings. It's never easy to win 3 on the bounce. She'll be fully tested here. I do like the form that number 8, Yo Lacka Dung, brings into the race. They're drawn 7 and 8 in a small field of 9, so that doesn't overly concern me. Yo Lacka Dung was a nice winner over So Hot So What over 1,400 meters in her penultimate start, and we've seen that So Hot So What just continues to hold her form. But there are others with chances. You mentioned number 2, Oni San. Yes, she does appear to be going through the motions, but slight improvement in her last couple of runs. La Divina, when caught in the right mood, she can be very dangerous. She's not always reliable. She does have a handy draw here. I expect number 3, La Divina, to go forward. And if she's given easy fractions up front, she might prove difficult to peg back. 4, Lady Lookalike, won a very weak race for us last time. We were very firmly on her back, and she beat Beach Queen, who subsequently disappointed. But if you go back to the run on the 22nd of March, when 4th behind Fun Zone, the same form that number 3, La Divina, brings into the race, then maybe Lady Lookalike is alive. Hampstead Heath, below par in her last run, but better than that. And another one that I think can improve, although you look at the last form and you say, well, she was beaten 5 lengths by Klainsey, so how can she turn that around? Well, Diamond Bomber, last time out, was dropped out well towards the rear of the field from the worst of the draw. She did make headway up the straight, and I think she's better than that. So if judged on her previous form, even number 6, Diamond Bomber, could deliver a blow in this race. So I don't trust this race. I think you need to go pretty wide. If you're not in the camp of Klainsey and Yo Lacka Dung, they would form my top 2 selections. I've gone with numbers 3, La Divina, 7, Klainsey, and 8, Yo Lacka Dung in this leg of the place accumulator. I'd certainly go wider than that in the pick 6 and the jackpot. I'm just hoping to survive this leg of the place accumulator. Maybe I'm underestimating Klainsey. Maybe she's certainly headed in the right way, faster than I think. But I think she's going to find it very tough here.
Right, on to race number 9, and hopefully you found all the right selections, you've been guided in the right way, and you'll be standing in all of your bets going into race number 9. And I'm afraid to say 4-1 the field, and we have 4 joint favourites, numbers 4, 8, 10 and 11. Lady Springfield, Heliotrope, Quite a King and Show Off, all at 4-1. Number 1, Twice the Master, and number 6, Double Dash, last of the runners in single figures at around 8 and 8.5 to 1. Now, Graham, race number 9, I think the betting tells the tale, so I'm going to hand the baton straight over to you for your selections.
Thank you so much. I think this is the toughest race in the card. If you go back to the 21st of April, on a softish track, over the track and trip, 5 of these runners met. Quite a King came out on top, just ahead of Twice the Master. Heliotrope, To the Moon and Back, was just over a length further back in 5th. And then came Sansa Stark. So it's a rematch between Quite a King, Twice the Master, Heliotrope, To the Moon and Back, and Sansa Stark, with 1 or 2 others thrown into the mix, like numbers 4, Lady Springfield, 6, Double Dash, and 11, Show Off, as you've mentioned, as well as number 9, Prime Venture. That all adds up to it being a really, really trappy race, and definitely the hardest on the card. I thought that Heliotrope was a little unlucky last time. Perhaps Sean Veal made his move too quickly, went clear for a long way. She looked the likely winner, but then collared late, and I'm prepared to give number 8, Heliotrope, another chance. So she is my marginal first choice, but without a great deal of confidence. Quite a King, although he scrambled home last time and is worse off at the weights, he's very genuine. He stays the trip. He'll give another good account of himself. Twice the Master looks very well handicapped on the evidence of that last run, but he's a 6-year-old now. He's rising 7, and he seldom runs 2 races alike, so quite what to expect from number 1, Twice the Master, is difficult to assess, but you've got to throw him into all your play. Lady Springfield, Double Dash, they could make their presence felt. 2 3-year-old fillies, but it's going to be hard for 3-year-old fillies, particularly Lady Springfield, a 3-year-old filly in this hard-knocking field over 2,200 metres, lumping top weight of 61.5. 11, Show Off, recent maiden winner. He's also going to have to prove his mettle here. So I'm looking at the older hard-knocking horses to again fight it all out. I think there's some value in the anti-post market to be had about number 2, The Moon and Back. He was running on steadily last time. What you see is what you get, but I think at double-figure odds you could do worse than have an each-way bet at number 12, To the Moon and Back. But my rather hesitant top selection in a tough race, the toughest on the card, would be number 8, Heliotrope.
So, race number 9, scratched is number 7, Mahandas. So, number 7 is out. That'll leave us with a field of 11 runners, but it doesn't make it any easier. Well, thanks very much, Graham. Just before we let you go, for all your supporters out there, if you wouldn't mind going through your suggested bet for the day, please.
Place accumulator, race 3, the first leg, being a 9-race program, off at 1:15. I've opened with 3 bankers and loaded the last 4 legs, which look definitely more competitive. So banker number 3, Sierra Sagrada, in the opening leg. Then banker number 6, Ruby Rex. That looks an absolute match race. Then banker number 4, Ridian, who looks the nap of the day. Then we go numbers 3, 4, 5 and 9 in race 6. I really fancy a little bit of number 3, Vivo Perlay, but backed it up with numbers 4, 5 and 9. Then 5, 6 and 7 in the trappy 7th race, which may be a little more competitive than the betting suggests. Empire State, Elusive Winter and Bluff on Bluff. Then 3, 7 and 8 in the penultimate, La Divina, Claim C and Yo Lekker Ding. And all of numbers of 4, Lady Springfield, 8, Heliotrope, 10, Quite a King and 12, To the Moon and Back in the final leg.
Well, thanks very much, Graham. As is the norm, thanks very much for the professionalism and all the information that you give to the punters out there. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day's racing.
Thank you so much, Sheldon.
There we go, Graham Hawkins on the line giving his selections. So for all his followers out there, hopefully all the horses run their fastest.